Hi, it's Dannielle Miller here, CEO of Enlighten Education and author of The Butterfly Effect and The Girl with the Butterfly Tattoo. I'm just back from the set of Mornings on Channel 9 where I was asked to comment on a UK girl, Rachel Johnson's claim that her anorexia was directly brought on by her reading of magazines, and she's calling for those airbrushed ultra-thin models to be banned. The segment this morning was great. I mean, as is always the case with live morning TV, it's very brief and you can't get across everything you need to say. I found myself driving home though, feeling incredibly frustrated that I hadn't had more time to discuss what is an incredibly complex issue. And I really feel that I need to do that now. Look, we know that the number one trigger for eating disorders is dieting. And why do girls and women in particular feel the need to diet? It's because we are bombarded with messages that tell us that we're not enough and that our body shape is our currency, that the only way we can fit in is by taking up not much space. The average young person today sees between 400 and 600 commercial messages a day, not just in magazines, of course, but on TV, on billboards, on the back of buses. And most of those messages will define beauty as being one particular size, one particular shape, and one particular colour. If this is all you ever see presented to you, of course, you're going to start to doubt yourself and think that you don't measure up. Add to that the fact that most magazines and most commercial messages also tell us that our bodies are the enemies and that if they are large, we are unhealthy and unlovable. I get so furious with the current culture of fat shaming. You know, we all want to be healthy, and that is a really important and an admirable goal, but health can come in many sizes and shapes. I'm sure you all know people who are incredibly thin and aren't healthy necessarily. They survive on Diet Coke and an adrenaline. I know after I had my first daughter, Tia, I got really thin actually, not because I was dieting, because I was really unhappy. Unfortunately, I had postnatal depression and it meant that I didn't even feel like eating and I was so nervous. And I got really thin during that time. And you know what? I got so many compliments. People were telling me all the time, oh, you must be doing so well. You look fantastic. And I remember thinking, gosh, can't you people see that I'm dying here? That this is just a shell. Conversely, you know, you can be larger and be really fit. At the moment, I'm larger than I usually am for a number of reasons, but I still ran 10Ks the other day. So I think we have to stop defining size as the only thing that really matters. And we've got to stop using the scales as some measure of our health because they don't reflect that. They are one measure, but they're not the only measure. I get really worried about this culture of dieting because it is a trigger for many young people who do go on to engage in really disordered patterns of eating. Now, magazines and diets don't necessarily cause an eating disorder, but they can be a trigger for it. What do we know about eating disorders? We know they are incredibly complex mental illness. It is an incredibly complex mental illness, rather. It can often have its underlying causes in childhood trauma or in perhaps sexual assault or a range of emotional issues that need to be worked through. But there is always a trigger, and that trigger may be a diet, and often for young people it is. That's what they report. They went on a diet and then they got incredibly caught in that space. It may be thinspiration, which is offered everywhere. Let's be honest, not just in magazines, on websites and in movies. I think this stuff is just really, you know, we just seem to be so complacent about how dangerous this culture is. We know that diets don't even work. For goodness sake, 95% of people who will go on a diet will put on all the weight they've lost and more within 2 to 5 years. They're only ever a short-term solution. This is crazy. Can you imagine any other product or service that we know doesn't work being allowed to advertise as itself as effective? It blows my mind that this stuff's even permissible. Yet we fall for it. We fall for the hype that if we are a particular size and shape, we'll be happy. So I want you to rethink that. I want you to rethink this current body shaming culture. I want you to rethink the need to go on diets. I want you to stop judging yourselves and judging others based on their body shape. You know, this stuff is insane and it is literally killing us. It is killing our best and brightest. And as someone who works in schools with young girls, I mean, I work with 20,000 teen girls a year, you know, I feel really passionate about this. This is personal. I have daughters, they're 13 and 17. I want more. I don't want our girls to wake up hungry. I don't want them to be doubting themselves. You know, as women, we have come so far. We have achieved leadership positions. I mean, we have a female Governor General, a female Prime Minister here in Australia, yet the ultimate glass ceiling still seems to be our bathroom mirrors. And that's not going to change unless we work together to make that change. So what can you do? Well, firstly, don't buy into all of those toxic bullshit lies. You know, don't buy magazines that shame celebrities or talk about yummy mummies or encourage you to go on crash diets. Educate yourself. Understand the way you're being manipulated. You know, education is such a powerful thing. Understand the way photos are stretched, the way they're altered, the way that the vision you see of femininity is completely an artifact. I mean, it's artificial rather. It is some generic computer-generated vision of what makes us beautiful. And be good role models. You know, if you're a mum or a woman watching this, step up. You know, stop dieting and lamenting the aging process and rushing out to get Botox, and show all the young girls in your life that they are large and contain multitudes. And it's who they are that makes them beautiful and passionate and successful. And finally, you know, seek out positive alternatives because they're there. They're hard to find, yes, but they're there. I know we, Enlighten Education, designed an iPhone app for girls last year, and it's free. You can download that from our website, which is enlighteneducation.com, and it will give you a body-loving affirmation every day, and it will give you an inspiring quote by a woman or a link to a key website. You know, read books that are going to be really helpful. And I don't mean just mine, although that's great, but there are some really amazing books out there aimed at giving us all a stronger sense of who we are. I love Emily Maguire's book, Your Skirt's Too Short. That's an incredible book for young girls. Kaz Cook does some great writing for young women. Melinda Hutchings has written some wonderful, really accessible stuff on moving past eating disorders. So, you know, we need to take this seriously. We really do. There is a war being waged on our bodies, and we can win this, but we need to pay attention. Thanks.